I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre commented on the bipartisan gun control negotiations during a press briefing on Monday. She said that President Biden is, quote, encouraged by the talks and that he believes Congress should act, but is trying to let the senators hash out the details. It is likely the compromise, if reached, will be less sweeping than what Biden detailed in his speech on gun violence last week. Take a listen to Jean-Pierre's remarks about the possibility of legislation.
Thanks, Karine. The compromise that is being worked on the Senate side on Capitol Hill sounds like it might include some incremental expansions to background checks, possibly maybe encouraging more states to adopt red flag laws, but it wouldn't be a major expansion of background checks or raise the purchasing age for semi-automatic weapons or ban magazines, large capacity magazines. How is the president thinking about a compromise like that? How disappointed would he be if it didn't include many of the things that he just laid out the other night?
So let me just say that the president is encouraged by the discussions that are happening currently in the Senate, by the bipartisan group that's being led by Senator Murphy and other members, and it shows the urgency of the moment. Look, so we have to remember that while there have been measured victories on gun violence prevention in recent years, there hasn't been a wide-ranging bill passed since 1994. That's almost 3 decades ago. So the president has made it clear that it's time for Congress to act. We've seen the House take some actions last week. They're going to take some more actions this week, and so he can't do it all alone, right? He has taken some action, some executive actions that we've talked about here, and he believes that Congress should continue to act, and we are going to see how the negotiations go. We're going to give it the space that it needs, and we're not going to speak to what exactly is being discussed, the pieces of legislation, but we are encouraged, and we think these incremental steps, these steps that they're taking, this conversation that they're having is very important for the moment.
So does he consider this compromise that is potentially taking shape to be wide-ranging?
Well, what he's calling for clearly, and we've heard him talk to this on Thursday when he talked about how it is enough, and how when he went to Texas, Uvalde, the parents that he met with for more than 3 hours asked him to do something, asked for Congress to do something, and this is what we're seeing now. We believe Congress needs to act, and what we're seeing is that they're taking those actions by having this conversation, by having these negotiations to act. And again, we haven't seen these types of steps in a long time, and so the president is encouraged by it. He welcomes it. We have to see what will come out of the negotiations.
You said he's giving them space. I mean, he's not in regular communication with either the Democrats or Republicans involved in that
I'll say
compromise.
this. What I can say is that, I'm not going to, as we like to say, we don't read out any private conversations, and I've mentioned this last week, our Office of Leg Affairs, his Office of Leg Affairs, have been in constant communications since the Uvalde shootings, more than dozens of conversations with leadership in Congress, with the negotiators, and also with staff. So that has been continuing. So his staff has been very involved in that. One more thing I do want to add. Senator Chris Murphy was on one of the networks here, and he said that he has been in constant communication with us every day during this time of negotiation, and he also said that he believes it's time for the Senate to make a move, and it's time for the Senate to take action. Okay, I'm going to just go around. I'm going to go back a little bit, but go ahead, Mary.
Just following up on that, I think trying to get a sense of how the president defines success when it comes to this issue. I mean, you note those pleas to do something. Is doing something, even if it is far short of, obviously, sort of the sweeping legislation that the president's looking for, is that still a success in the president's mind?
Well, I think the way that the president, and he has said this, right, which is, yes, he has laid down a sweeping list of actions. He did that very passionately and very effectively on Thursday. And what he is saying, because the parents, what he heard directly from the parents in Uvalde and families, is that they just want to see some action. They want to see that that Congress actually can put their politics aside and come in a bipartisan way and deliver something. And when you think about the red flag law, I know Nancy was asking me about that. 72% of Americans want the red flag law, and so that's encouraging. That is important. And if you think about it too, if you look at the shootings in the past, Parkland, if the red flag law was in place back in 2018, that would have prevented, if it was enacted, that would have potentially prevented that tragedy. So, and now Florida has that red flag law, and it has prevented tragedy in the state. So there are things here that are very important. I think that are going to have some impact. Of course, the president's always going to call for more, but we want to see action, and that's what we're hoping to see with the negotiation that's currently happening in the Senate.
And on the timing of all this, Leader Schumer wants to give enough time for negotiators to try and find some common ground, but also wants to be able to get, especially Republicans, on the record on where they stand here. How long does the president believe these talks should be able to continue if there isn't, a real formal agreement yet?
I mean, look, the president wants action right away, as soon as possible. He doesn't want to. Clearly, the families don't want to wait, who have lost their loved ones, sadly. But we leave the mechanism to how this process is going to work and move forward to Senator Schumer. I'm going to just go take